Life was not always as sweet for University of Hartford student Allan Vega. Allan was born and raised in Caracas, Venezuela in the 1980s, a nation filled with violence.
I remember being very chaotic, like a lot of people, almost like New York City. It was very, very always in motion. I was always like a loner, a lonely kid. I have one sister, which is 1 year older than me. So we were very, very close when we were young.
At the age of 5, Allan's father was killed, leaving Allan's mother with no money and 2 young children to care for.
My father was murdered when I was 5 years old. Like my whole life changed. Like I was just shattered, like I couldn't believe it.
Allan and his family were then forced to live in shanty towns where his family shared one bedroom and had no running water. It was during this time when Allan's mother made a decision that would shape his life and provide him a future. She moved the family to America.
My mom went into like a depression at that point, and both an emotional depression and a financial depression. So we came to the United States when I was 9 years old. When you look at it from the perspective of a 9-year-old, you just think that was not a good choice because she only came here with $100. So we didn't have no money. She coming in here with 2 kids. My mom doesn't speak the language, neither did we. Yeah, I became more introverted then than I was even before. I was always an introvert, but I became even like very, very lonely at that point. I just sank into like my little world pretty much, and I just started like I began reading a lot of books. I was really into animals actually at the time, so I would like read about like the animals in Africa and stuff like that, and I was always reading. I learned to speak English by watching movies, and in particular the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Funny, I just watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids probably like 3 years ago, and I could finally understand what they were saying.
Allan was often bullied at school and says he got into many fights because he was different.
So I guess people would have thought that I was a problematic child, but it wasn't really that. It was just that I didn't want to be bullied. I didn't want people to take advantage of me, and I just felt like fighting is the only way that I could really like get some respect. Well, my outlet was chess.
Chess for Allan was more than just a game. It allowed him to finally have control over something in his life. It gave him hope.
I would even say that chess was probably the thing that saved me, because like I was a really bad student in high school, and I didn't have any parents at home, so I could have easily gone, the wrong track on the wrong track, but it was chess that kept me in line. When I graduated high school, the first thing I did was I left home and I went to live in Florida. It made me understand that you have to pay bills. There's mommy and daddy are not around. I was completely on my own, and I think that experience made me mature a lot. Life is hard, man. So I said I need to go to school. So I came back to Connecticut. I enrolled at Capital Community College.
During his time at Capital, Allan thrived and graduated with honors.
And I said, I don't know Venezuela that well. I would really want to know my country a little more.
Allan journeyed back to Venezuela, and it was there where his life came full circle.
I met her during this time in Venezuela, and like immediately sparks flew, like I knew like this is something good here.
He met his wife Linda and instantly knew this was the woman he was to marry. However, this too was a difficult process.
I proposed, she said yes, so we got married. I was constantly flying back to Venezuela. I wanted her with me so bad that, I wanted to be here. It took her a year and a half to get here. It's terrible for any newlywed to get married and then be away from their spouse for a year and a half.
Show me how to be really thoughtful person. He think of me before think of him.
My wife had been feeling sick for a while, and then so she goes to the doctor to see what's wrong. When we leave the lobby and we're in the hallway going towards the elevator, she tells me that I'm gonna be a dad. Baby was supposed to be born on January 25th. December 9th, she went into the hospital. Immediately when they see her, all the doctors and nurses start panicking. They tell us, the baby's coming. And I said, what? And then December 11th was the day that Emma was born. I first heard Emma, immediately, right after I first heard her little cry. I just knew I was not the same Allan anymore. I was a different Allan. I really want her to have a good life. I really want her to be better than me. I must have a graduate degree now. I really want one. And so it motivates me to, you know, achieve the most that I could possibly achieve.
The next stop for Allan takes place here at the University of Hartford. As he enters his senior year, he plans on continuing his education here at UHart and possibly getting his master's in communication.
I don't have to worry about the violence, especially how it is in Venezuela. I don't have to worry about any of that here. So I live a comfortable life. I'm pretty happy. But as far as the American dream is concerned, I think that's more reserved for like the second generation of immigrants. So like my daughter, her having both of her parents be first arrivals. I think she's gonna be the one that's gonna live out that dream. I just want to set the groundwork for her.